Hey, yo, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Mama's Legacy podcast. I'm joined here with Tyreek,
What's going on, man? How you doing?
and it's an honor to have you on. Let's jump right into it. First things first, Russell Westbrook just notched 182 triple doubles, breaking the all-time record. I mean, honestly, that's out of this world. Top five point guard ever, in my opinion. I mean, what were your initial reactions to him hitting 182?
Well, I know knowing Russ, I know he wanted to win that game too, but like you said, 182, that's just like that's ridiculous, especially because like this all really started like within like the last 5 years. And it's just crazy like how quickly he elevated up those charts. And that's the record that we thought would never be broken. We thought that would never be touched. And we really have to just appreciate like what Russ has done, over the last decade, because we might not see something like this for a very long time because he's been just so consistent and just so good for so long. We definitely just got to give him his flowers while he's still playing because he's still playing at a high level.
Definitely. The Westbrook hate's actually some of the most I've seen on a player. Him and Paul George, I believe, get the two most hate that's undeserved. Westbrook, I mean, yeah, like you said, it recently started like with the triple doubles. I remember watching him. He won MVP first year. He started averaging them. I mean, that wasn't too long ago, and now he's already got the record. I mean, this is really special. I know, like you said, they definitely would have liked to win that game, but the way he's elevated this Wizards team, it's out of this world. I never thought the Wizards would be anything higher than the 10th seed this year, even with Westbrook, but they're in contention now. So for the play-in, so geez.
Bro,
Uh,
it's like if like I'm a Celtics fan, so it's like I would not want to see that team in a win or go home situation in that play-in tournament because you got not only Westbrook, but we've seen Bradley Beal go off for 50, 60 points. Like he can have those big explosive games. And this team, like people don't realize, like they've been a very good defensive team over like the last 25 games. I think they're like top five in offense and defense. So they're really starting to hit their stride. Westbrook obviously is a big reason to that, but Daniel Gafford's been a big part of that too. And guys are really just stepping up and playing their roles. So I wouldn't want to see this team in that playing tournament, man. I think they can definitely be a scary team to play.
I definitely agree with that. But speaking on the Celtics have been struggling a lot lately, and now that Brown is down, it's just another huge blow to the Celtics team. Where do you think the Celtics go from here?
Hey, I'm watching them right now. Like they're playing the Cavs, and they just had a lineup out there with like Romeo Langford, I think Peyton Pritchard, and like Aaron Neesmith all on the court at the same time. It's like it's definitely dark times for the Celtics. It's just been a very weird season for them. I mean, they dealt with all like the contact tracing stuff and the COVID protocols. And then Jason Tatum missed a bunch of time, and Jaylen Brown's been in and out the lineup, and now he's done for the season. Kemba's been in and out of the lineup. Marcus Smart. It's just been like a very like injury riddled season. But even when this team has been fully healthy, they just haven't been playing that well. Like that's really the case. It's just one of those weird seasons. Like I knew they wouldn't be as good as they were last year. I think that was kind of like an overachieving season because obviously they lost Gordon Hayward in the offseason, and not replacing him was definitely something that hurt them. But I did not think it would be this rough of a season for them.
No, the Celtics, this is one of the roughest seasons I've seen from a good team in a while. I mean, you guys in the Raptors, you guys have been hit crazy. But with Brown out now, honestly, I think the Celtics season's over. I don't think there's much they can do to salvage the season. I think you just give the guys their minutes. I hope Langford keeps getting better. I'm a huge fan of him. And I just let Jason Tatum run the team right now. I mean, that's what he's doing, but give him more minutes. I think Kemba's going to have to go. I This team, I'm not entirely sure where the direction is. They still don't have a big man that they can rely on to get rebounds. Tristan Thompson's not the answer. You got rid of Theus. I mean, this team's a little bit of a mess right now with some of the players. Fournier. I mean, what do you think the Celtics are going to do this offseason?
Hey, I would not want Danny Ainge's job for sure because, like you said, Kemba is probably like they would like to move that contract, but who would take Kemba and give you something in return? I don't think he really has that much value. And like you said, they moved Tice. That move was kind of confusing to me in the first place. They wanted to give more minutes to Robert Williams, and he's been playing well when he's been in the lineup, but he's been kind of injured too, so he hasn't been playing so much. But there's just like a lot of question marks on this team. The lack of playmaking has really hurt them this season too. And I mean, they had all those draft picks, and these guys that they've been drafting in recent years are just kind of like not even end of the rotation guys. Like Grant Williams gets some minutes, but he's really the only young guy that gets consistent run. I mean, even though these guys are playing now because of injuries and stuff, but when fully healthy, a lot of these guys aren't seeing the court. So it's definitely going to be an interesting offseason. I think like them and like the Trailblazers probably have the most work to do in the offseason because I think they both have underachieved this season in a way.
Well, the thing is with the Celtics, the Trailblazers, I think they need to blow that up, but that's a conversation for later on. The Celtics, they have a ton of talent. I think you just keep your glue guys, make sure they're happy. I think you keep Tatum. I think you keep Brown. I think you keep Smart. I think everybody else, a couple young guys you want to keep, but I think other than that, those three guys, I think those are the three guys you really want to stick with. Marcus Smart, he's the life of that team. He's the guy that's speaking. Jason Tatum, he's the future of that team. So is Brown. So other than that, I think they shake it up.
Yeah, and
Problem
I
is
also
with
think
oh my bad.
oh, my bad. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I think like when everything started going south for this team is when Marcus Smart got hurt. Like people don't realize, like you said, he is the heart and soul of this team for sure. But he might be like it's either him or Brown that have like the most value to get moved because you know they're not gonna move Tatum and Kemba probably won't get you much in return. So it's like they might have to look into moving one of those two guys. And I'm sure Celtics fans don't want to hear that, but that's really the reality of the situation.
Well, I had a very hot take that a lot of Celtics fans didn't like earlier this season. It was when the Wizards weren't doing as good, so I'm not sure how well it looks now. But I was thinking Brown and something for Beal. I felt like that would have been the move. But now I'm a bit more iffy on that, especially with the lack of defense on the team. I mean, Kemba Walker, he's a liability like crazy on defense. That's why I think you need to keep Smart because you're not going to get move Kemba and get anything. And you have no defense at that point guard position. Marcus Smart's one of the greatest defensive point guards in the league. Uh, I think you definitely have to keep him if Kemba's not being moved for something, but you're not going to get anything for him. I think Brown's the one to go. I think he takes a little bit away from Tatum. I think Tatum can develop a lot faster and a lot better if Brown isn't in with him. Nothing against Brown. I think he's an outstanding young guy who's going to blow up someday. But I think I don't believe that Brown and Tatum can win together. I don't think they can go that the distance, just them two.
Yeah, I'm starting to see that more and more as well because it's hard when you have two players that are so similar, both wing players. It's hard to really build like a contender around those two. That's why I think the success that they've had is actually like pretty remarkable that they've made, a couple conference finals runs and stuff. But yeah, I agree. I think, Brown is probably going to be the piece that has to be moved, even though, he's been amazing this season when he's been on the court, first time All-Star and stuff. But, now it's probably the time to move him while his value is still so high because I'm sure a lot of teams would love to have a Jaylen Brown on their roster.
I mean, who wouldn't? This guy. Now, this guy's crazy, but with moving him, I think if you move him, I think Jason Tatum. I don't think immediately, but I do believe he could evolve into not KD level, but I think he'd be like a step below Kevin Durant level. I think he can get a consistent jumper up. The guy's decent on defense. He's pretty above average everywhere. I mean, I think Jason Tatum could run this league if the team's built around him correctly. Right now, this team's not built around him at all, and he's still playing like a top all-star in this league. I mean, Kemba's not the best fit for him. All he does is shoot the ball. That's all he's really good for. Brown, like you said, they're kind of the same player. And I think you get more playmakers around him. I think Jason Tatum can take over this league by storm.
Hey, you said you watch my videos. I'm probably like the most critical person of Jason Tatum because I think he has MVP potential. I think he can be a lot better than what he already is right now. And he's taken so many big steps this season. He's evolved as a playmaker. He is he's better on the defensive end as well. And I just think like when he really just simplifies his game and just takes like smart shots, gets to the basket, there's nobody on the court that can stop him. Like we've seen
Mm-hmm.
like recently, he's gone off for 50 points, 60 points. He's had these big games. And in those games, he's just, he's playing a simple game, getting to the basket and playing, within the offense and stuff. So I agree with you. I think he can take this league over and he can be one of the top, five players in the future for sure.
I do have a question about. We'll leave this as the last thing about the Celtics, but how would you feel about if the Celtics had cap space? They made some room somehow. How would you feel about them signing Alonzo?
I love Lonzo Ball.
Yeah.
I think he's along that list of players that are hated for no reason, mainly because of his dad, probably. But hey, Lonzo is I would love him on this roster. I think a lot of teams would really love him, and a lot of teams should push for him in the offseason. But I mean, he just brings everything that you would want in a point guard. He's become a really good spot up shooter, and he has these games where he can defend really well, throw like 8, 10 assists. If the ball's in his hands more, which the ball hasn't been in his hands as much this season because of Zion's development and stuff. But I mean, I think he's really taken a lot of strides, especially this season, and he's going to be a hot commodity in the free agent market. I think some teams are going to throw some money at him, like the Bulls, the Knicks. They should both be looking to sign him. Celtics too, if they get the cap space somehow.
Yeah, no, I definitely think he'd be the perfect point guard to pair along Tatum. Now, the Mavs. We can't not talk about them right now. I know they did lose last night to Memphis, but they went on an 8 out of 10 game win streak. We can't forget about that. This Mavs team is scary. What do you think they could do in the playoffs coming up? I mean, personally, I can see them getting out the first round depending on who they play, but do you see them getting past the second round?
Yeah, it's crazy. Like you said, 8 out of 10, and nobody's talked about it. I mean, I think I'm even kind of guilty of not really noticing how good they've been playing. But we saw Luka in the playoffs last year, almost single handedly beat the Clippers.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't be surprised if they get out the first round. Now, definitely depends on who they match up with. But I mean, if you even look at this roster, it's really not like ultra talented. It's really like Luka making everybody around him so much better. I mean, I'm not taking credit. Like Jalen Brunson's been really good this season, but like Porzingis is not even consistently in the lineup, and he's not like the Porzingis that we saw, a few years ago as an All-Star. He's definitely a shell of that version. So it's really just Luka, doing what he does. That's just another guy that's going to be one of the top players in the league, and he's already one of the best that we have in the league. But right now, I think they would play the Nuggets in the first round, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe,
That's
yes, they're fourth and fifth seed.
that's going to be a tough series because the Nuggets have been playing very well too, even without Jamal Murray. Um, yeah, they would have. That's going to be a very tough series. That might be the best first round series if that's what we get. But I wouldn't be surprised either way if they got out the first round. But I can't see them getting past that second round. I don't think that could happen. It would take a lot for them to get out the second round and make a conference finals run. That would definitely shock me.
I'm not. I mean, if they play my Lakers, there's no way they're beating us. But with the Nuggets, I think they could possibly beat the Nuggets. I mean, but like you said, Luka has elevated this team like crazy. I mean, let's look at this Mavericks team other than him. You have, he's not even an all-star level Porzingis and some solid role players around him. I mean, you don't even have Seth there anymore. I believe he's in Philadelphia now. You don't have it. I feel it's not as bad as the Cavs were, but I feel like what Luka's doing to this Mavericks team is not Cavs level LeBron, but he's elevating a team like LeBron could, in my opinion. This team, you take him out of it, they're bottom of the West, let's be honest. And Luka has 8 out of 10 game streak. That's amazing. I mean, this kid, I've been a little bit of a Luka hater. I was more of a Trae Young guy when they both came into the league, but you can't deny it anymore. Luka's a top player in this league for sure.
Generational type talent. You said like Cavs, LeBron. I see it like James Harden, like in 2017, when him and Westbrook were battling for that MVP. That Houston Rocket team was not that good. Like Eric Gordon was his second best shot creator. Ryan Anderson was getting big time minutes. It's very similar to that team. Just put the ball in Luka's hands and he just creates. That's really what he's doing this season. And I'm sure his usage rate is like off the charts. But I mean, it's better when the ball's in his hands because he's going to make the right decision most of all. But it's kind of interesting. Like, I know this is part of the topic list, but how he's been getting so much technical fouls. I didn't realize how many he was really getting this season.
I I do not know. It might be a European thing, the flopping thing with him and Jokic getting mad all the time. But no, Luca, I don't understand. I mean, yeah, there's a bunch of calls that he doesn't get. Let's be honest for a second. He probably gets the most missed calls out of this league, but he's got to mature up. He's got to just take it, man. It's really starting to hold him back now. You're starting to see it. He got suspended for a game because he picked up a technical. Uh, if he does that in the playoffs and they miss him for a game or two, that might be the deciding thing of the series. If he even misses one game due to a ejection or something, I don't think the Mavs have a shot against anybody in the Western Conference. I don't care if they played the 8th seed. If he's missing a game, I think that kind of just is the X factor if he can stay in the games.
Yeah, we've seen that change in series before. 2016 finals, Draymond gets suspended, and that swung the series. I think it is tough, with officiating and stuff because referees are kind of a little sensitive these days. I must admit that.
Mm-hmm.
But also with Luca, like once you get that reputation, refs are kind of gonna like single you out in a way, and you have that reputation of getting a bunch of technicals this year. So, referees find it easy just to call that technical next time, man. Like you said, he just really has to keep his composure because he is way too important of a player to potentially miss a game in the postseason, like you said, because they definitely won't win that game without Luca. And that can just change a series right there. All it takes is one game to really swing a series. So he definitely needs to just, keep cool for these next, month or so. Like he just has to keep cool, man, because he has to be on the court for this team to win.
Yeah, I definitely think the Mavericks would definitely benefit by signing an older guy, a veteran guy in the league this offseason. I think that would be perfect for the team. I think that would really help Luca's maturity. If Luca can get matured up, he's gonna it's the league's his. I mean, you can give him the keys.
Mm-hmm.
This guy's crazy. But for a final topic of the night, the Hornets. LaMelo Ball came back. Nobody thought he'd be back this season with the broken wrist injury. And just a side note about the soft refs thing, as he was coming down, I think last game, the ref grabbed his wrist that he broke. He pushed them off and he got a technical for that. So they are pretty soft. But this Hornets team, this is, I don't think I've seen a team change so fast. The dynamic, the culture of the team, everything. I've never seen a team flip themselves around this fast. I mean, initial reactions on the Hornets so far this season, man.
Yeah, well, last season they were a fun team, but they were a bad team. Like they were definitely fun to watch and stuff, but they were a bad team. I just think like you got to give a lot of credit to the head coach James Borrego. He's really done a great job with this team, and obviously Lamelo's been amazing. You can't really understate his impact as a rookie that he's had on this team. But also like when Gordon Hayward was in the lineup, he was affecting the team in a very positive way too. The development of Miles Bridges is something that is not talked about enough. I think he's really found his role within this team. And, a bunch of guys, Terry Rozier's been an all-star level guard like the last few months of the season. He's been playing great all year long for real. And even like even though Devontae Graham's taking a step back, he's still been pretty solid. And guys, they just know their role in this team. Even their bigs may not be that like talented, but Biombo and Cody Zeller, they just do their thing. They just play their role, set hard screens, roll to the basket, grab rebounds, and try to block shots as best as they can. Like it's really just a complete team effort. And I don't want to go back to the Celtics, but I would not want to play them in a one game situation either because that's a team that they play like they have nothing to lose, honestly.
Yeah, definitely. This Hornets team, a lot of the stuff isn't talked about. I mean, it's always LaMelo, not enough other things. Miles Bridges, I think he's going to turn to what we thought Aaron Gordon would turn into. Miles Bridges, he's very underrated. I don't know how words can describe it. He brings an energy to this team. When LaMelo was not there, he was still energizing the guys as best he could, and that's why they're still in the play-in spot because he was kind of elevating the guys energy wise. Rozier stepped up. Rozier, oh, I loved him, and even when they thought it was a bad signing when they got him, I thought it was an amazing signing. You get somebody who can actually play a little bit of defense too instead of Kemba. I think Michael Jordan made the right call as GM. I know you don't hear that often, but he did. Uh, this Hornets team, I mean, it's crazy good. We don't get enough talk about LaMelo Ball stepping up. His his involvement and impact to this team has been off the charts. I mean, even though he missed all that time with the wrist, I still have him first place for rookie of the year.
Hey, I'm still pondering because Anthony Edwards has been so good post All-Star break. So it's definitely it's still close, but the fact that it's still that close just shows you how good LaMelo has been this season. And like you said, I want to go back to the Miles Bridges point. That's like really a perfect comparison. Like Aaron Gordon, that's really a perfect comparison. I think, yeah, Miles Bridges still has like a lot left to like grow within his game and stuff. And I seen like people are talking about the Terry Rozier and Kemba sign-in trade. I just think like either way, like they lost Kemba, but you still got a good point guard back. And now it's like that 17 million a year. It kind of looks like a bargain, honestly. I think it's 17 or 18, but it kind of looks like a bargain because Terry Rozier's been that good and he's had very explosive games this season. So yeah, just this team definitely one of the surprises of the league this season for sure.
Yeah, no, and they've been playing this well with Zeller as their starting center. I mean, that's crazy to think about. I mean, no shade out there to Zeller. I mean, he does what he needs to, but this team has arguably the worst big men rotation in the league. If
No,
they
they have.
get
It's the worst. It
yeah,
has to
yeah,
be the
it's
worst.
yeah, I was trying to be nice to my Hornets fans, but no, you guys do unfortunately have the worst big men rotation in the league. But if you can get somebody like Holmes this offseason, hell, I've even suggested maybe Whiteside. You get him on a 1 year. He normally plays better on the 1 year contracts. I think this team would be really solid. I mean, the fact that they're in a play-in game with no good big men, I mean, it's incredible to think about. I mean, I'm still amazed that this Hornets team has turned around. This is why I still have him as number one in the rookie of the year, because even though Edwards has been playing great, the Timberwolves still suck, unfortunately. I mean, it's impressive, man. I don't really know
Yeah.
what else to say about the Hornets other than wow. I mean, like you said, Rozier looks like a steal. Everybody else thought they overpaid for him and it was a dumb move. I always kind of liked it after seeing Rozier. Was it the 2018 or 2019 playoffs where he destroyed Bledsoe? I think that was
Um.
2018
Yep. 2018 when he went crazy. Yep.
when Scary Terry showed up. As soon as I saw that, I knew he could hit that again, but he wasn't going to hit it with Boston with the other guards that they had there. Now that he's run really well with LaMelo. I mean, LaMelo, you can plug him at shooting guard even. He runs and he goes off. But Rozier, he's turned into what we thought he could. It's amazing. And like you said about the perfect comparison with Aaron Gordon and Bridges, the thing is with Gordon, he kind of slacked off after he got that payday. I
Hmm.
think Bridges is going to keep being hungry. I think this kid has hunger that Aaron Gordon didn't. Aaron Gordon got the paycheck and he became an average player. I love Aaron Gordon, but he had so much potential and he kind of just I felt like he got a little bit lazy with it.
Yeah. Gordon, he has been a lot better since the change of scenery, though. In Denver, he's definitely been a lot better. But that's just like a testament to Miles Bridges and just his work ethic. Like he always plays with that fire. Like he was even like that in high school when he went to Huntington Prep. He was just somebody that played with that ultimate fire. And that's what, I really like about him. Obviously, that's what you like about him too. But another thing about the Hornets, they had the best announcement crew in the league by far. Like they can make I think they can make golf interesting. I think if they if they did a PGA Tour event, I would actually be interested in it if I heard them announcing it. Because that's just how good of a job they do. Just calling the games, man. They deserve a lot of credit too, man. Everything about the Hornets has been great this season.
Well, here's the real testament about it. Do you think they could have made the Rams Super Bowl interesting?
You see, I didn't watch the Rams Super Bowl because I'm a Saints fan, so I was so mad about that pass interference not being called.
What do you
I
mean?
couldn't even watch the Super Bowl.
What do you mean? What
Oh,
pass
you know what I'm
interference?
talking about,
What
man.
pass interference? What are you talking about?
You know what I'm talking about.
Well, you guys, the Saints have had a lot of pain lately.
A lot of it.
I unfortunately don't know what that's like because I'm a Broncos fan. But I do want to thank you, man, for coming on. I'd love to have you on again, man. You're amazing to work with, really chill guy, and you know your stuff, man.
Hey, I appreciate it. This is a great podcast. I really enjoy listening to it. And anytime you want me to come back, you already know, just hit me up and I'll be there as soon as I can, man.
Hey, for sure, man. I'd love to have you on this off season playoff time. I'd love to have you on, man. Make sure you guys. I'm going to leave a link to his YouTube channel in the description. But hey, man, again, thank you.
For sure. I appreciate you, bro.
Take care, man.
You too.